So here's another situation out of Franciscan Health Crown Point. Here's another Black mother arrived in labor in clear distress. She's in a wheelchair, crying, breathing through contractions, and visibly in pain. And the video shows she's in active labor, but instead, again, of monitoring her, managing her pain, or reassessing her, staff discharged her. They told her she wasn't far enough along. 8 minutes after leaving the building, according to her husband and the video, she gave birth in the car.
For everyone who doesn't believe that Black women do not go through discrimination, especially when they are in labor and delivery, you can go straight to fucking hell and stay there.
My daughter's in active labor, and this is a Franciscan Crown Point being put out in active labor. So we gotta transfer her to a different hospital where she's in labor, in pain. I'm
And y'all better share this and repost it so that we can bring more attention and awareness to Black maternal health, because we are out here dying, y'all.
From Indiana, a heartbreaking story is shaking the nation. A pregnant Black woman in active labor, in pain, begging for help, was turned away and rejected by a hospital that refused to admit her. Staff told her to go and come back later, ignoring her condition and her contraction, including the fear. Moments later, with no medical report, with no clean room and no doctor, she was forced to deliver her baby in the seat of a truck. While we dive into the different clips of people's reaction concerning how this Black woman was treated with her pregnancy, if you are seeing this video for the first time or you are coming across this channel for the first time, please do well to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Tell us what you think about this video in the comment section. Like and share the video to help the channel out so that more video like this about what is happening in the country will pop up on screen. You're welcome.
By now, we have all seen the video of the Black woman that was in active labor who was actively being ignored at a Dallas hospital. This morning, it happened again to another Black woman by the name of Mercedes Wells in Crown Point, Indiana. If you haven't seen it, here it is. 8 minutes later at 6:28, she gave birth in her husband's truck on the side of the road and had to drive 30 minutes further down the road to a different hospital. It's no secret at this point that hospitals are to Black women what police are to Black men, which is deadly. Now, I saw one woman in the comments who was a former Indiana nurse who said that because Mercedes was in active labor for 5 hours and had not progressed past 3 centimeters, that is the reason why she was discharged from the hospital. But my question is, why hadn't they also kept track of her contractions? Because labor isn't only measured by how far your cervix is dilated. It's also dependent upon how close your contractions are. And for her to have that baby 8 minutes after she was put out, her contractions could not have been that far apart. So they dropped the ball on that one. There's no way that they were keeping up with her contractions. Black women, I need y'all to bring healthcare back into the community. Go back to birthing at birthing centers or at home with a midwife and a doula. If you just 1000% are die hard for a hospital, if you're going to have a hospital birth, hire you a Black doula. Get out of these white towns with these white hospitals that are full of nothing but white staff and go somewhere where you will be taken care of, or more likely to be taken care of. I used to live in a white town called Abilene. Very, very white. It's in Texas, not too far from Dallas. But the care that I received there versus the care that I received back home in Memphis, Tennessee at Choices Birthing Center with nothing but black doulas and midwives, the difference in the care that I received was substantially different, that it should be fucking illegal. The first time I was even asked how my diet was or how I eat on the daily while I'm pregnant was at Choices, and I was already like 7 months pregnant when I switched my care to midwives. My OB never asked me how much did I eat, what did I eat, how much water am I drinking. Never asked me any of that. I just laid back on the table, was in there for 15 minutes, and was back home already. I was much more taken care of in the hands of black women, and it was felt, the energy was felt. I felt like I was at home. I wasn't uptight. It was nothing of the sort. And I want black women to bring that back. I want black women to bring birth back into its sacred world, how we used to hold it sacred and dear to us. I want black women to be cared for by black women again. Y'all need to stop looking at people crazy who choose home or birth center births over hospital births. And y'all like, what if something goes wrong? What if this? What if that? They are highly trained medical professionals, just like an OBGYN. And if there is anything that they cannot handle, you will be transferred to a hospital ahead of time. Stop looking at these women crazy for choosing to keep their placentas attached until they fall off themselves, during their herbal baths with their placentas, or turning their placenta into pills and taking them after birth. Stop looking at them crazy for doing all this stuff, and do your research and see why they're doing it. And then you'll understand that we have been doing this in our culture for ages, but we have been taken so far away from our culture, it makes no sense. Black people need to start back educating themselves, and black women need to start back educating themselves around the topic of birth. Get you a midwife, get you a doula. If you do not want to birth at home or at a birthing center, birth at a hospital, but still hire you a black doula.
Getting kicked out of the hospital in active labor for being black, and her husband having to deliver their baby on the side of the road. This happened in Crown Point, Indiana, where Mercedes Wells arrived in clear distress after hours of strong contractions.
This is proof that this happens more often than you think. Mercedes Wells went to the hospital because she was in active labor. She was told that because she was only 3 centimeters in dilation, come back later. Mind you, when I gave birth, I was in the hospital for 22 hours because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to monitor a woman while she's in active labor. You're supposed to monitor the baby. You're not supposed to turn her away. This woman gave birth in her car minutes later, 8 minutes to be exact, and had to drive 30 minutes to another hospital so she could get proper medical care. This happened at Crown Point Hospital in Indiana. Baby was 2 weeks early. But since when are babies being born at the due date? Babies are late and babies are early. But you're gonna tell this woman, come back later, you're not ready to give birth? Are you serious? Her mother posted this video on social media and has gone viral. So obviously the hospital has made a statement. We're aware that we've been caught. We saw the video that is going around on social media. And since the video has gone viral, and this could potentially cost us millions, we decided to make this statement. We're not going to say much because in litigation, this could be used against us. But just to make you aware, we're a Catholic hospital. We value the life of everyone, except a few. We have compassion for human life, except a few. We thrive to show Christ's love through us. There's no worse hate than Christian love. And we're not ready to fire anyone because we have to conduct a thorough investigation. The hospital where she finished delivering her baby, because, they had nothing to cut the cord. 15 doctors were waiting for her in front of the hospital, and numerous nurses. 'Tis the season, and I'm here for it.
Y'all, there is another video going around with a black woman. She's been discharged from the hospital. The reason for the discharge is because her cervix is unchanged. And so 8 minutes later, after she's discharged, she delivers on the side of the road in her husband's truck. Yes, clearly this lady was in pain and she should not have been discharged. And so, but I also want to say this. There's a lot of information missing from this. As a former labor and delivery nurse, I have a lot of questions. My first question is, did the doctor actually come to the bedside, his or herself, and assess the patient? Another question I have is, what number baby is this for her? Another question I have is, did the nurse advocate for this patient? Did the nurse say, hey, you know, I know her service is unchanged, but clearly she's in pain. Can we keep her for a little while longer? Maybe give her something to help with her pain, to relieve her pain. Can we keep her a little while longer? Like, did the nurse advocate for her? So those are the questions that I have. And then on the other side of things, I want to know, was the unit full? Was the unit full of, like, everything was booked? They had a unit full of labor patients. Because that could have meant that, you know what, your service is unchanged and our rooms are full. We're going to send you home because we don't know what's going to walk through the door. And so whatever it was, they dropped the ball on her and they put her and her baby at risk. They delivered 8 minutes later. Y'all, when I used to work as a labor and delivery nurse, I kid you not, that when I would walk into my patient's room and if they were a woman of color, a black woman, some of them would look at me and give me the deep, like, sigh of relief that I too am a black woman that's going to be taking care of them. And some of them would be straight up like, oh, I'm so glad I got a black nurse. And so I immediately understood what they meant. You know, the morbidity and mortality rate is extremely high for black and brown women. We are 3.5 to 4 times more likely to die during childbirth. So the difference between what the statistics already know, what we know, maybe y'all have seen a headline, woman die in birth, whatever the case may be, but to actually, like, see it on tape, like, people are putting out their phones and recording, yeah, now y'all see the numbers don't lie, that black and brown women are more than likely than their white counterparts to be mistreated, to die, or develop complications than their white women.
So I'm starting to think that y'all really do this to all black women. We have another hospital that's treating a pregnant woman in Friends Health, Crown Point, in Northwest Indiana. Nah, y'all, they wheeled this pregnant woman out the facility.
My daughter's in active labor, and this is a Franciscan Crown Point. So we gotta transfer her to a different hospital while she's in labor, in pain.
You can clearly see that she was in labor, allegedly. Y'all, why the fuck they tell her, had denied her, that she hadn't been passed or processed past 3 centimeters? Not only that, these be women. Y'all seeing that she's in pain, and y'all really just send her off like that? Come on, man. Not only that though, y'all, just minutes later, she had her baby in the car. Did you hear me? In the car. The And what's so sad, they sent this lady home. What if something happened? What if that baby would've, you feel me? Then would've went left, could've went left for her. It definitely would've been on their hands. You still gonna have people talking about, oh, why you making it about a race thing? It's not about making it about a race thing, nigga. It's like, it's only happening to the niggas. You can see this shit's clear as day. Just like how you saw she was in labor, clear as day. Come on, man. If this ain't happening to no other color, I can tell you that. And what make it so even worse, y'all, ain't see no man in sight. If these are women that's doing this to other women, and they got 4, 5 kids at home. So you bitches telling me y'all don't have no sympathy at all?
If you are someone who takes care of human beings in a healthcare environment, I need you to listen the hell up. I just watched another video of a black woman being dismissed in active labor and having a baby 8 minutes later. It is disgusting to watch, but finally, people are paying attention. This is an article that was written 2.5 years ago. I talked about how if you are a nurse who says shit like, I'm colorblind, I don't see color, I treat all my patients equally, that you are part of the problem. You are actively contributing to harm because your passive silence is active violence. So you might not be the nurse that does the side eye to a laboring Black woman, but you won't be the person to speak up when something is wrong. You'll be the nurse just following doctor's orders, just pushing the patient to the car. But if you are the kind of nurse who cannot recognize that a patient's skin color, one of the most obvious things about them, puts them at a 3 times greater risk of death, what are we doing? I'm going to explain to you why equality should never be a goal in healthcare. Our goal should be equity. I'm going to use a photo that's often used to explain this, but I'm going to explain why it doesn't work on our scenario and give you a better example. So this is what equity means, okay? We're not giving everyone the exact same thing because giving everyone the exact same thing will still end with people having bad outcomes. We have to recognize the specific needs of our patient and give them exactly what they need to be successful or to live or to not be traumatized when they come into a hospital. Here's why this doesn't work when we're talking about Black women. This puts the problem or the onus within the body of that person. So I do presentations for nurses and talk about the importance of speaking up when it might feel scary to protect our patients from birth trauma, harm, or death. And in this presentation, I made this graphic, which shows 2 equally heighted women in 2 different environments in the same place. This woman's ancestors were enslaved women who were experimented on by a monster named James Marion Sims and called it gynecology, given procedures without anesthesia because they thought Black women could not feel pain. Even in my nursing books, in the culture section, it talked about how Black women have a higher pain tolerance. In order to improve outcomes for this patient, we have to either repair the ground underneath her or move her to a safer location. We have to change her environment. And when it comes to birth, there's a lot of well-meaning advocates who say, this is why you should have a home birth. No, that should never have to be the answer. We have to make birthing in a hospital while Black safer. And it starts by treating your Black patients differently. Stop being personally offended if they don't inherently trust you because you're wearing a badge and scrubs, because they've likely experienced mistreatment from someone who looks an awful lot like you. It's why my 9-year-old doesn't fuck with bees. He got stung by a bee, and even though there are going to be millions of bees who don't sting him, he will never trust a bee. And I don't blame him, because every bee has the opportunity to hurt him. We know that Black women are less likely to be listened to, so knowing that, how would you approach a patient who you knew was at a higher risk of not being listened to? Would you pull up a stool and hang on every word she says? Would you make a promise to listen to her? Would you echo her wants and desires louder to the other people on the care team? Would you act immediately if she says something is wrong? Or would you brush it off and say you're fine? But most importantly, are you willing to speak up against your coworkers, against people you may consider to be your friends when something is not right? If even half of the healthcare workers in this country made a pact to never allow this type of behavior to exist in our orbit, we could make things better. But it counts on you holding up your end of the deal, to treat your Black patients differently, to never be silent in the face of injustice, and to always be on the lookout for ways that you can help your patients feel heard.
So here's another situation out of Franciscan Health Crown Point. Here's another Black mother arrived in labor in clear distress. She's in a wheelchair, crying, breathing through contractions, and visibly in pain. And the video shows she's in active labor, but instead, again, of monitoring her, managing her pain, or reassessing her, staff discharged her. They told her she wasn't far enough along. 8 minutes after leaving the building, according to her husband and the video, she gave birth in the car. 8 minutes. That alone tells you she was not stable for discharge. Labor doesn't suddenly turn on in the parking lot. She was already in it when she was inside that hospital. Here's the clip.
My daughter's in active labor, and this is Franciscan Crown Point. being put out in active labor.
Regardless of cervical measurements, a patient in this level of pain should have been evaluated, monitored, and treated. Pain management is part of labor care. She received none. No comfort measures, no interventions, no support. The family is demanding accountability, as they should. The hospital released a statement confirming that staff members that were involved have been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. But the broader issue is this: Black women in labor continue to be dismissed and minimized even when their symptoms are obvious and urgent. This is part of a larger pattern in maternal health outcomes across this country. This cannot be normalized. It can't be brushed aside as miscommunication. This is preventable harm, and until hospitals take this seriously and address the bias built into these decisions, stories like this will keep repeating.
What do you mean come back later? This isn't an appointment. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a woman that was at a Crown Point hospital in Indiana that was turned away as she was in active labor. And the reason why they turned her away is because they said she was only 3 centimeters dilated. And after they turned her away, 8 minutes later, she gave birth in her car. As she's being pushed out of the hospital that refused to get her into a room, you can hear her screaming. And luckily, they had called 911 and the dispatcher led them to a community hospital in Munster, Indiana. And this hospital didn't turn her away. They welcomed her with open arms because there were 15 doctors and nurses waiting for her outside. But I want to give a big round of applause to the husband because he's the one that eventually wound up delivering the baby in the car. So if you haven't seen this, go look it up. If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments.
So this Black woman's partner, her husband, who was panicking and pleading for help, happens to turn to an emergency responder that the hospital refused to bill. Thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it. And as this woman screamed in pain through this labor, the very people that were trained to save life and to help pregnant women deliver watched her walk out of their door in pains. Something about this incident has happened not few weeks ago. A Black woman that was in active labor screaming in pains, and a nurse named LaCrista Vaughn was acting sluggishly with paper intake and refused to provide her with the immediate attention that she needs at that moment. Why are people so wicked at heart like this? You were trained to save life. This was what you were trained to do, and this woman was in active labor screaming for pain. You couldn't even admit her before telling her to go and come back later, despite seeing the condition and the contraction she was passing through. Like I said before, if you're seeing this video for the first time, please do well to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Tell us what you think about this video in the comment section. Like and share the video to help the channel out so that more videos like this about what is happening in the country will pop up on screen. You're welcome.